How many times have you walked around the neighbourhood or maybe a friend's garden or even your own garden and noticed plants and thought, wow, they're beautiful. I'd love to get my hands on some of those. So you pop down to the local garden centre, but you can't find them. It's all to no avail. What if I told you you could grow most of these plants yourself at home? It's easy to do, and now's the time to do it. The simplest way to do it is with seeds from packets or taking cuttings from trees and shrubs that you've identified you like. And you don't need much to make this work. Grab yourself some rooting gel or powder, some propagating sand for succulents and cacti, or peat moss and vermiculite for other shrubs. The softwood semi-hardwood cutting mix involves mixing 3 parts peat moss, 1 part vermiculite, and 2 parts coarse sieved river sand, and mixing it all together thoroughly. You can add a small amount of Troforte M Rejuvenator, about 60 grams is all you're going to need, and mix it in thoroughly through the soil. Its small supply of nutrient is helpful, but the beneficial microbes, much more so. Now, the cuttings, they generally look a little bit like this. They're either what we call tip cuttings or semi-hardwood cuttings. This is a really good example of a semi-hardwood cutting. And what happens with these is that you take those cuttings, remove all the leaves, all the way down the stem, and it's probably just the last 2 leaves. Cut them in half. The whole goal here is to reduce transpiration. So prepping your cuttings first. This is a tip cutting, and again, to be quite honest, it's just a case of stripping those leaves down, those last 2 leaves on the top, cut like that. Get your cuttings all ready, and then the hormone gel comes next. The cuttings are to be dipped in a rooting gel, just the base of them, and this stimulates callousing and fine white feeder roots to develop quickly. These roots will appear within a month, and after 6 to 8 weeks, the cutting will generally be ready for transplanting into a larger pot. You can place 1 per small peat pot or several if it's in a larger pot. Water them in and avoid using any fertilisers until they're in their first home pot and growing with a strong root system. Some fertilisers can burn young roots, so try to avoid them. And if you're wondering what types of plants you can grow this way, well, there's pretty much no limit. You can do natives, you can do exotics, you can do evergreens and deciduous trees, and now's the time to be doing it. And if you want one little tip, this has got to be it. Grab one of these. It's a little Fothergill's greenhouse. It's designed actually to grow herbs in their range, so you can grow seeds as well this way. But if you put this over the top, after you've watered them, and just pop them down, what you're going to do is you're going to reduce the evaporation out of there. Now, this keeps the moisture in longer. It takes the stress off the cutting as it's dropping roots down. And within about 8 weeks, most of these will have dropped roots and just about be ready to go into their new home. How good's that? What a great way to save money and have a beautiful garden at the same time.